Hey guys, lepedaler back with another video. Today we're going to be comparing two bikes. I've been excited to make this video because the bike that just got released is the Specialized Tarmac SL7 2021 road bike, and we are comparing it to the Giant TCR Advanced Pro 1 disc 2021. Very excited. This was highly requested from you guys. So without further ado, let's get right into this bike comparison. Now I just want to say a quick thank you. We're almost at 3,000 subscribers and you guys really motivate me to continue making these types of videos to help you guys either gain some more knowledge on the bikes that we're talking about or help you guys decide which bike to choose. So I really do appreciate the feedback and also the support on this channel, and it really motivates me continuing forward. Now, unfortunately, bike companies have still not reached out to me, and when I've reached out to them, they have not been responsive in terms of me getting product to actually test and ride for you guys and give an in-depth review and first look at. So I'm trying to do the best with what I have, so bear with me. I know these videos are very helpful, but at the same time, because I do ride a lot, you can always follow me on Instagram or Strava. Links in the description below because I do ride a lot, so it would be really beneficial for you as the viewer to see me ride these bikes in hand and give a proper test ride and proper review on. So the only way that's going to happen is if we just keep coming out with the content, we keep pushing forward, and we just work with what we have. So that's why I'm making these videos still. But if you guys keep supporting the channel, I'll do my best to continue with the content. And as we grow, as we continue to grow in the not so distant future, hopefully these companies actually see me and they reach out and we get these bikes to test ride and do proper comparisons, because nowhere on YouTube is that being done when they actually compare two bikes in hand, back to back. So I really do want to be the first one to do that, and that can only happen if you guys continue to support the channel. So sorry for the little rant. I just want you guys to know that I'm trying my absolute best and I'm working with what I have. So for everyone that's been supporting me, a big thank you. Now, enough with the chit chat. Let's get right into this bike comparison video. And right now we are on the Specialized United States website, and they have just released the bike, the one bike to rule them all, and that is the Specialized Tarmac SL7. I already made a video on my channel when the pictures leaked. That video did really well since a lot of people are Specialized fans. And now, since racing has come back in terms of the professional, the bike's being used, and it's the perfect rollout opportunity for Specialized to showcase their new bicycle. Now, when the Giant 2021 TCR got released, I really did see a big push in the industry. We've already seen it kind of with Cannondale with their Super 6 Evo. Their new iteration is that they're trying to make one bike that's not only a very good all-around climbing bike, but also a very good all-around aero bike. So now it's no longer in its own category of being a climbing bike or an aero bike. It's more just an all-around bike. So it's very interesting now to see that Specialized going forward, I don't think are going to be making the Venge. Now, when they say one bike to rule them all, the connotation is that the Venge is bye-bye. And that's pretty interesting because it just shows you that, in today's modern age of engineering and what we know about performance, you don't really need an aero bike, especially if a lot of the gains are lost in racing. And if you guys do race like myself, you know that racing is very dynamic, unless it's just, one up a hill type race, like a hill climb race or a very hilly stage. A climbing bike is not going to really outperform an all-around bike, because an all-around bike has the best of both worlds. And if there's descending, an all-around bike is going to perform better because it has those aerodynamic flares. So right now we're looking at the Tarmac SL7 Expert. I tried to use the Ultegra group set to make a fair comparison. Unfortunately, Specialized does not have one that's just purely mechanical. So if we look at the TCR Advanced Pro 1 disc 2021, this one is mechanical Ultegra, where the Tarmac SL7 Expert is Ultegra Di2. So just bear that in mind, but we're going to look at it. So in terms of the new iteration of the Tarmac, you can see that, just in terms of aerodynamics, it looks a lot more Vengey when compared to its older iterations. And you can just see the tube shaping. I have a video of the bike in hand in person. If you guys do want to see it, I'll link it in the description below if you want to see the bike up close and personal. But in terms of the cockpit, how the tube shaping, and just overall the redesign of the frame, you can just see that it has aerodynamic flares. And the same thing can be seen on the TCR. I don't want to bore you guys. If you guys know, you can just look up older iterations of the bikes and see how it's improved. But that's just a quick update of what they decided to go for. Instead of having the Venge, they want the Tarmac to be the best of both worlds. So let's look at the specs. That's why you came to this video. That's what you want to know. So this bike is retailing for 5,000 USD. Now that's pretty steep. That's pretty expensive. And since they have one bike to rule them all, they're not going to have cheaper iterations, especially because the Tarmac used to be the more common between avid cyclists and weekend warriors, where the Venge, well, you needed some steep money for that. So it's very interesting to see the different price ranges now. But let's see in terms of specs what you get. So you're getting a carbon fiber fork and a carbon fiber seat post. But now this is where it gets interesting. I kind of already looked at the specs beforehand just so I was sure of what we were looking at. Now this is where it gets interesting. The group set is Ultegra Di2 hydraulic, 11 speed, but this is where it gets pretty interesting is that when we look at the wheels, I looked up these wheels. These are the DT Swiss R47 rims, and these are aluminum, and I'm pretty sure they're tubeless ready, but aluminum rims. So that's pretty disappointing. For $5,000, you're getting aluminum stock rims. I forgot to say this also. The chain set is 5236, so a semi-compact. Obviously, that's what you would expect on a carbon fiber race bike. Now, the other thing too is if we look at the crank set, we don't see anywhere about a power meter. So not even a single-sided power meter, which is pretty disappointed as well. I could be wrong about that, but usually they list it in the spec sheet. Now, one thing to note that they did improve on is I do like the threaded BSA BB, which is basically a threaded bottom bracket, which is usually the standard that usually doesn't creak, very easy to maintenance. You don't really have to pop out the bearing shells. It's really nice when compared to the Giant TCR that is press fit bottom bracket. Now, just because Giant is press fit doesn't mean it's going to creak. Giant manufactures their own bikes, so in terms of quality control, I've never had a problem really with a creaky bottom bracket on a TCR. However, Specialized doesn't make their own bikes, so in terms of quality control, maybe in the past it was a lot harder. I know for other bike companies it's pretty hard to make sure quality control is good because they're not the ones building their bikes. So going to a threaded bottom bracket is a smart move because it's just going to be easy maintenance. Now, before we move on to the Giant TCR, I just want to say my thoughts. I think it's a really cool looking bike in terms of how it performs. I know it slightly outperforms the old Tarmac, but it doesn't outperform the Venge in terms of aero. But then again, it's not designed for that. It's designed for dynamic racing and riding. So take that as you will. I think one thing that is always interesting with Specialized is for the lower models, it says Specialized, and then for the higher ones, it says S-Works. So a lot of people want to, feel like a pro, look like a pro, ride like a pro. So if they have Specialized, a lot of people go for S-Works for that reason because they want to look pro. So let's see the colors they have. This one, not a fan whatsoever. Doesn't look good. This one looks decent. I just don't like the flares on the back. And let's see the red one. Definitely do not like that. So colors, I wish they just kept it simple, but let's look at, we'll keep the middle one and just look at other parts of the bike. So you can see, I'm pretty sure tire clearance is 32 millimeters. I said in my old video. One thing I forgot to note too, guys, is I really like the cable integration. You'll see on the TCR it's not as clean, but they put all the cables right through the stem cap. So it looks really nice. You don't see any cables sticking out. So I give props to Specialized for that. And maybe that's another reason why they chose Di2 is just because they don't want to have cable management problems right here. So it might be a Di2 only ready bike. I'm not sure. So we are taking a look at the Giant TCR Advanced Pro 1 disc 2021 model, retailing for $4,300 USD. And by far, this is my favorite value race bike for the road, just because you can't go wrong with the price. You're getting the bike for $4,300. Now, I don't want to sound biased. I do ride a Giant. However, I've ridden all these bikes in the past, all these iterations of bikes, so I'm well versed in terms of how they ride. Obviously, I haven't ridden the new ones, but eventually I will. Just when I used to be in the industry a lot more, I had the opportunity, where now, since I'm not directly, I just have experience with older models. But that's why, like I said at the beginning of this video, with the support, with the growth, we're almost at 3,000 subscribers. Hopefully, bike companies start reaching out to us to do proper test rides and reviews. So stay tuned for that. I have a good feeling it's going to happen. Just going to take a little bit of time. Now, if you haven't seen me talk about this bike on my channel, or this is the first time you're watching one of my videos, sit back, relax. I'll give you guys a quick rundown on what you get on this bike. So, full carbon fiber frame and fork, just like the Specialized Tarmac. The seat post is carbon, which is nice, and you're getting two carbon fiber rims, which are 42 millimeters in depth, and these are the SLR ones made by Giant. You're getting a full 11-speed hydraulic Ultegra group set, so you're not getting Di2 in this situation, and you can see that the cable management is different because it is mechanical, so it's not as clean looking, And let's look down in terms of other things that you get on this bike. So very similar if we look at the componentry between the Specialized SL7 Expert and this one. The biggest difference being just off looks is that one's Ultegra Di2 and the other one's Ultegra mechanical. Now, one thing with the Specialized that the Giant has is press fit bottom bracket. So where the Tarmac had threaded bottom bracket, this one's press fit. So I haven't experienced creaking. They do very good quality control, Giant. So I have had good experience with not having a creaky bottom bracket, which can be the most annoying thing in the world. Now the biggest differences, like I said, are the rims. So these are two front and back 42 millimeter deep carbon rims, SL1 42 millimeter carbon disc wheel systems. So these are really nice rims. I have the older iteration on my gravel / cyclocross bike, and I absolutely love them. So this is an improvement. It's a sleeker design. So right there, the Specialized Tarmac has aluminum, and this one you're getting carbon fiber rims. So interesting. Now the biggest thing I always note for these videos when I make these comparisons, and people say they're redundant, and to them I say, well, a lot of people don't know or don't even catch it, because marketing, especially with Specialized, is very, very good, because they probably have the two best riders in the world, which are Peter Sagan and Julian Alaphilippe, which I had the opportunity to ride with, so stay tuned for that video. But yeah, when you have good marketing, information and value flies over your head sometimes. So the thing that I want to note here is that for when you look at crankset, it says Shimano Ultegra 5236, which is semi-compact, Giant Power Pro power meter. So this has a dual-sided power meter, which is really great. I have the power meter myself. I've been riding it, but unfortunately, I haven't been riding my bike because the spokes on the back have broken. So I'm waiting to fix that, or actually riding my carbon rims. So I was planning on making a full detailed video of this power meter, because I really do think it's a good power meter, but I'm just waiting to put on my rims and get back on my bike. Right now it's on the trainer and I'm riding my gravel bike outside. So stay tuned for that. But really quickly is that it comes stock with a dual-sided power meter, and it comes stock with a carbon fiber wheel system. Like, that is crazy, guys, in terms of value. And this is $4,300 USD. Now, one thing I want to note, we'll go back to the Tarmac, and I wanted to note that the carbon fiber is not its highest carbon fiber. This is the 10R carbon, where Specialized has 10R carbon for, I think it's the Expert models, the logos that say, the frames that say Specialized, and for S-Works is 12R carbon, so it's super light. When I lifted the S-Works edition of this bike in store, it was really light. But if we look at the TCR Advanced Pro 1 disc, it's the same situation. This is not Giant's SL, which is super light carbon. This is just their standard. So both these bikes are the standard carbon, which is, I don't think is that big a deal, especially when we all got weight that we can lose ourselves and become fitter and lighter and stronger on the bike. So nothing that's too important. But in terms of the comparison now, guys, that's the biggest differences. So you have the Tarmac. I'll quickly summarize it. You get aluminum rims, no power meter, and it has a threaded bottom bracket, which I think is good. And on the TCR Advanced Pro 1 disc, you're getting carbon rims, a dual-sided power meter, and you're getting a press-fit bottom bracket. And in terms of the similarities between both bikes is that they both have a seat post, carbon fiber seat post. And now, in terms of the Giant TCR Advanced Pro 1 disc, I forgot to mention at the beginning when I started talking about it, is that this is a redesigned also in terms of what the Giant TCR was in the past. So the Giant TCR in the past was dedicated climbing bike, kind of like the Tarmac, and Giant had their aero bike, which was the Giant Propel. And now with the 2021 reiteration, they changed the tubing, they changed some of the shaping on the back, also on the fork, also on the head tube area, and just made it a more all-around bike. So that's what you get. You get the climbing benefits, but you also get aerodynamic benefits. So no longer is it a dedicated. It's kind of like that Specialized saying is one bike to rule them all, which is being seen across different bike companies. So in terms of, let's compare in terms of looks. You can see the biggest difference is the seat stays at the back. They're dropped, where for Giant TCRs, how they're manufactured, they don't need to do that to get the compliance that the engineers over at Giant deem a good ride performance. So I'd love to test that to see the difference maybe in comfort or handling. But other than that, this one's just a little bit beefier. It depends on what you like. I would always say too, that's why I want to get these bikes in hand, because it's very hard just to make judgments off pictures. And I have to give it credit, because it's not like I can say, oh, because I've ridden an older iteration, this ride's very similar. It most likely does, but I still have to ride these bikes to give a fair comparison. So that's what I'm really waiting and excited to do, and that's why I keep making these videos, because I know with time, with the effort, it's going to happen. But now I want to give you guys my thoughts on which bike I would choose and just the concept of how to choose the best value between both these bikes. So I made a rundown sheet with the prices and did some research on which bike I would choose based on my thought process, and I want to share that with you guys because I know you guys do enjoy that. So just to recap, Tarmac Specialized SL7 Expert Ultegra Di2 retails for $5,000 USD, or the Giant TCR Advanced Pro 1 disc retails for $4,300 USD. So there's a price difference of $700 right off the bat, and if we take it for face value, you're saving $700 with a Giant TCR Advanced Pro 1 disc, and you're getting a dual-sided power meter, which could easily retail for $1,000, and you're getting carbon rims, which could also easily retail for $1,000, and you're not getting Di2, you're getting mechanical. But in my opinion, being a racer, that I'd rather have carbon rims and a dual-sided power meter and save $700 than pay $5,000 stock, get aluminum rims, get no dual-sided power meter, but have Di2. Like, that's a no-brainer. So for an additional $700 worth of savings, for face value, I'm going with the Giant TCR Advanced Pro 1 disc, and the Specialized, to just match that on face value, you would have to spend an additional $2,000 for the dual-sided power meter and also for the carbon rims. Now, you could sell the crank set, maybe get some money, $300, and then get like a single, or sell. See, that's such a hard one. Even if you get a single-sided power meter, like if you have to compare it for face value, like apples to apples, you're spending way more money on the Specialized to make it spec'd out like the Giant TCR. But in this situation, it's kind of tricky because usually I would be comparing mechanical Ultegra to mechanical Ultegra, but since Specialized doesn't offer that, I had to price it in and show you guys the value if you were to do that. So basically what I did was I took the Giant TCR Advanced Pro 1 disc, and it retails for $4,300 USD. Now for Ultegra mechanical, it retails for about $900 USD after tax. So if you were to sell your, or if we were to sell the Ultegra group set, give or take, and subtract that from the price of the bike, like this is a hard comparison, but I'm trying to do my best. So if we subtract $900 from the price and we got rid of the Ultegra mechanical group set, the bike would cost $3,443. That's how much you would have had to spend on the bike, because you would have got your money back, give or take, or in this comparison, you would have got your money back from the Ultegra group set, that's mechanical. And if we were to purchase an electronic Ultegra Di2 group set and slap it onto the bike now, you would do for $3,500 USD plus $1,500 USD, and you would get $5,000 USD. So now you have $5,000 USD, and you basically have a dual-sided power meter, carbon rims, and Ultegra Di2 electronic group set for $5,000. So if we compare that directly to the Specialized Tarmac, for like they're both now $5,000. And you're like, look at the value difference. The Specialized doesn't have anything that the Giant doesn't have, and that like the Giant has Ultegra Di2 now, like the Specialized Tarmac. It has carbon rims that the Specialized Tarmac doesn't have, and it has a dual-sided power meter. So, like I said, that comparison is kind of hard because you would have to hope that you would get $900 for the group set and whatnot. But I'm just trying to show you guys that the thought process is, even if you did both different ways, the one way where you take the loss on the Giant TCR and you say, okay, I don't have an Ultegra Di2 electronic group set, then you're still saving $2,000, because on the Specialized Tarmac you would have to upgrade your rims and buy a dual-sided power meter where the Giant comes with it. And if we do the other way, the Giant TCR is still for value what it comes stock with. The rims and the power meter is a no-brainer. So in my opinion, guys, I would say if you were thinking of racing for the next season, especially if it comes back, and you're looking for the best bang for your buck, best value, I'd say don't believe the hype right now. Like I said, I want to test these bikes, and that goes for every bike I've talked on my channel. I have to give spec sheet reviews and comparisons because I've not been given these bikes. I always like to reiterate that because some people don't understand that it takes growth of this channel to get these bikes in hand. So I'm working with what I have. It's only going to happen, like I said, with the support of you guys. So feel free to like this video, subscribe to the channel, comment what you guys think of the new bikes, and what bike you might go for and why. I always like hearing from you guys, but if it was for me to decide, I would have to go for value. The Giant TCR Advanced Pro 1 disc is a no-brainer. From all the points I just pointed out, I would have to go for that. Now, I'm not saying that the Tarmac SL7 is not a nice bike. It definitely is a nice bike. It probably rides really nice. I would love to ride it very soon. But for value, for being a conscious cyclist that wants the best performance for the best bang for my buck, I would have to go with the Giant TCR. So that about wraps it up for comparing the Specialized Tarmac SL7 Expert to the Giant TCR Advanced Pro 1 disc. If you guys did enjoy it, like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment another 2 bikes that you would love for me to compare on this channel, and I will get to it. And until the next one, keep on pedaling.